my friends, and welcome to episode 112 of the Kiss Army Nation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Pasquale Veri.
And I am Claudius Pera. Welcome to the show, everyone.
You cannot hear the word Gema without thinking of our next guest, a regular contributor of KLA Kiss Live Auctions, along with San Freiermuth. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
They never failed to deliver an entertaining auction along with amazing deals on some pretty rare and hard to find vinyl. He is also the owner of a spectacular record store called Skeletone in Rochester, New Hampshire. On this episode, we're going to talk Kiss, vinyl, the story behind Skeletone Records, and most importantly, we will determine once and for all if San is in fact stable. So, Kiss Army, please welcome Todd Michael Radict.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome, my friend.
Nice to see you again.
Welcome to the show, man. So it's, I can't believe it. You're here with us, man. Paz was telling me about his trip to your store, and man, the stories, I can't believe it. You're here. So thanks a lot.
Oh, no problem. I'm having a great time already. We haven't even started.
No, man. Meeting you in person, and I was telling Brenda, this guy is out of his mind. And, you delivered in spades, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Well, my employees know I'm crazy. I just love life.
Yeah. You have passion and you have heart.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
Well, we can tell already that this episode is going to be amazing, man. I'm telling you.
Awesome.
Gema! Okay, Claudio, do you know what that means?
No, I don't.
Todd, explain it. See, I didn't know what it meant either at first.
It's like a imprint, sort of it's the label from Germany, like they licensed it from, like you have Stemra, I believe that's from the UK, and that's what it is. And I forgot what it means. I can look it up right now, but it was something because San just held up the record and I saw Gema and I just started yelling it. And he's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "That's awesome." So on German records, you'll see Gema imprinted on the labels.
Oh, okay. That's good. Okay. Super.
Yeah. And in every auction, they always scream that out.
That's what they do.
What the heck are they screaming, So I traveled all the way to Rochester to find out.
And it was really worth it, man.
It was worth the trip.
Hey, Todd, just to get things going, we know that owning a record store, you must have a wide range of musical interests. So could you tell our listeners some of your musical influences growing up?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, I loved Elvis, and then we were having dinner, and my brother brought home this record, and he threw it on, and I was like, "What is this?" And it was Rock and Roll Over, and I just was memorized by that cover. I looked at it forever, and then you end up tracing it and like trying to make the drawing and all that, and that's how I got into Kiss. But my other influences are like reggae. I love Black Uhuru and Lyndon Kwesi Johnson. They are amazing. My favorite reggae artist is Toots and the Maytals. Every time he used to come to town, I would go and see him. And the last time I saw him, the night before, somebody had to hit him with a bottle in the head. And he announced that night that he was going to quit. This was his last show ever. So I met him by the tour bus and had him sign my shirt. And I told him my story, like, "Toots, I see you every year. I see you all the time. You can't quit." And he goes, I know quit, man. I know quit. So I'm like, well, maybe I had something to do with it. But it was a sad thing to hear because some young kid threw a bottle at somebody that's been around for years. It's very insulting. But I also love punk. My other favorite band is The Clash.
The Clash.
Yeah, The Clash are a great band. I think without The Clash, I might have, who knows, I could have become a lawyer, a plumber, something like that. But The Clash told you, go for your dreams. And that's what I did.
Yeah. And how does Kiss fit into the picture? So let's say that, you have an extreme large variety of different musical tastes, but is Kiss one of your favorite 5 bands, or is it in the top 10? How does it fit?
Kiss is in one of my top 2 bands. It's between the Clash and Kiss. Obviously, it's between what I feel that day, but Kiss was amazing. It was just something I never heard. I think the record before I had that, and I was a young kid, the first record I had was Puppy Love by Donny Osmond, and then all of a sudden Rock and Roll Over comes out and you're just blown away,
and that was kind of that you were hooked since then with Kiss.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I recorded a record with a band years ago, and they put a hidden track because they had me sing. And at the hidden track, you got to listen to for like 10 minutes. You hear me go, "Kiss, baby."
I love it.
But yeah, I saw them on the reunion tour and stuff like that. I liked them up until Preachers, because to me, everybody says Peter Criss wasn't a great drummer, but without Peter Criss, you would have never had that glam feeling that they had, with the jazz beats and all that.
Mm-hmm.
After they lost Peter, with the Creatures, the 1-2, the drumming style changed for me so much that I wasn't into it anymore. I liked the glam style, and it wasn't until the reunions when I came back, because I loved his drumming style so much. Eric Carr and Eric Singer are amazing. I'll tell you that. But it was something about that jazz style that added it, and that they never captured again, I don't think,
It's true. So did you check out during the 80s? Or
Yeah. I checked out right at Creatures of the Night, because the drum sound wasn't what I liked anymore.
Okay.
Obviously Dynasty and Unmasked, they were, at that time, you didn't really like them that much because they lost that hard rock edge.
Mm-hmm.
I Was Made for Loving You was played on the radio and stuff like that. Of course you like that. And there were great songs, but my songs on those records, that my favorites were Ace Frehley's. In my opinion, Ace kept on rocking, instead of the rest of the guys. If you listen to Peter Criss, he was still trying to do that R&B thing, but the disco and then the pop thing was pretty much Paul and Gene. Ace was still trying to keep it rocking. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And Todd, like many Kiss fans, the band has afforded you so many opportunities for some really amazing experiences. We talked about that when we met at the record store. Take us through some of those experiences.
When I met them, or
yeah.
All right. The first time I met Ace, I had just come off for Bender, so I was probably still drunk, and I was working at my store, and he came in loaded, and the whole crew, except for the person working the register, they all like, "Oh my God, Ace is here!" And they all hid in the back. They just ran to the back room and hid there. So I was like, "Well, I got free reign. I can say anything I want." So Ace comes back and he's looking for a pair of stretch jeans to wear, and I'm like, "Ace, I don't have your size. They only go up to 36." I don't want to. This is a joke. We're just joking. I'm not intentionally picking on him, but I'm like, "Ace, we don't have your size. They only go up to 36. You're like a 38. You're like the size of Meatloaf." And he's like, "Ah." In order for, I always tell people, in order that Ace and Gina like you got to crack jokes.
Yeah.
Ace always has a humor and stuff like that. So we just kept on picking on each other back and forth. So he grabbed a pair of pants and he went up to the front and he points. He's at the register and he points. He goes, "I like that guy back there. He just made me buy a pair of pants that are way too small for me." And then he goes, come here. And he goes, "I'm going 100 miles an hour down the wrong way, down the Holland Tunnel." And he goes, "I still got it. Do I have connections or what?" And he shows me his driver's license. It was the best time meeting him, man. Then I met him years and years ago. I'm sure he didn't remember. It was at Creatures Fest. And I went up to him. I just said, "Hey, I want to apologize for selling you jeans that are way too small for you."
You see that? Okay.
How did he respond? Did he remember that?
He said, "No problem." I'm sure he didn't remember.
Right.
But just to bring the joke all the way around,
Now, I can't imagine a story topping that one, but do you have a Kiss related story which really stands out for you that you can share with our listeners?
Let me think. Oh my God. Well, I guess it would have to be being in the pit in Mansfield, and I met all of them. So I was in a grassroots group of like trying to rehabilitate my town. So I had these T-shirts, and I asked them all to sign, hold up the T-shirt, and take photographs of it, and everybody did. But I think Paul didn't understand what I was doing, and he got pissed and he left the room.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
I don't think he understood, because sometimes, I was in awe of them and I was babbling, so I don't think he understood what I was trying to do. Like, I wanted to show my town that KISS supports what I'm doing, But being in the pit, it was amazing, because I was on Gene's side, and Gene kept on pointing at me and all that. It was such a great time. If you have a chance to get in the pit, which is I don't think you can do it anymore, I'm not sure, but do it, because it's a lifetime experience, and you get to meet all the guys. Eric was very cool. Tommy was very cool. It's upsetting that I upset Paul, because he likes R&B and soul, and so do I. So I wanted to talk to him about that. But what can you do?
You couldn't make it happen. And Todd, speaking of interesting stories, we know already that you have a very interesting one about how you started Skeletone Records, your store. So can you tell us about the challenges of getting your store off the ground, just to get it going?
It was hard. See, I lived in New York City, and to me, besides San Francisco and Austin, the best record stores were in New York City. You spend the whole day going around. And I had gotten in an accident where my vertebrae, I herniated 5 discs in my neck. So I had to come back to recoup. And when I got back here, I was very relaxed. I was like, and realized New York is a hustle and bustle. It's gonna suffocate me sooner or later. So what I did is the vinyl was coming back. So I just went out and started wiping out every single record, because they were all $1. So this woman had a yard sale one time, and she had all these records. I'm like, do you have more? She's like, I have a whole barn full. I'm like, no way, because people are. So I go to her barn, and it is head to toe records, and there's records in the basement, and there's records in this Mack truck, and she had all the bins. And I asked her, what do you want? And she was like, $6,000. I said, done deal, because the bins alone are $800 to make. Mm-hmm. At that time, also, I understood, like, kids were going down to New York City because they couldn't find the records that they wanted and stuff like that. So I would periodically make trips to New York, because I knew where all the record stores were, and brought the really great stuff up. And I wanted it, and I modelized all my store after all the record stores that I had visited down in New York City. So I sort of created my own old New York, I never have to go to New York. And I don't know how the record stores can survive with the rents down there right now. But if you come to my store, there's a lot of history in there. I have Joey Ramone's T-shirt. I've got Johnny Thunder's boots from the New York Dolls. I've got stuff from KISS there, all signed and all that. What else do I have? I have shoes that Al Barr from the Dropkick Murphys wore on stage and all that. So it's sort of a semi-museum. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the stuff on the walls isn't for sale. It's for people to experience what we all saw when we went to record stores when we were a kid.
It's really more than a record store, right? Yeah. So
it's a passion. Wow. It's a passion,
That's lovely. So speaking of passion, and you mentioned KISS. So this is a very interesting question that Pasca came up with. So when a customer walks into your store, especially if that customer is a KISS fan, what can they expect?
I'll ask them if they're a KISS fan. Do they want to see more? And then I take them to the basement.
Yeah.
How is that? Okay.
The basement's a disaster right now. It used to be organized when I could find stuff, but then I lost employees and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll say, do you like KISS? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, follow me. Let's go to the basement. And they're already overwhelmed by the store. But when they go downstairs and they see like thousands of KISS records, they don't know what to do, you know.
Tell me about it.
And there's Kiss posters everywhere. There's everything. You saw, Pascal.
Oh yeah, I lost my mind. I was so overwhelmed. Like I don't know where to look first. You know.
Yeah.
And is everything up for sale, Todd, or you have your stuff that you keep for kind of personal?
I have a few things that are my personal collection. Like I have every first U.S. pressing still sealed. That's my personal collection. Then I have bits and pieces that I've collected from friends that used to own stores that had promo stuff and stuff like that, or stuff like if I met some of the guys, you know, I'll get it signed. I usually don't sell autographs unless I have multiple ones of that. And still, I kind of don't want to do it, you know, because you know I got them, you know. That's the most the experience is meeting them and getting them to sign something.
Right.
Because there's the story right there, you know. But there's stuff. I have one of Eric Carr's gold records that I had talked to her sister and I bought from her. I contacted Bruce Kulick and I asked him to sign I get odd things signed, like, oh, can you sign a baseball? You know, because I don't know how many baseballs are signed by Bruce Kulick, so I got that signed, you know. Okay. I have the rarest Kiss record, the Kiss Best Of from Japan. Oh, yeah. And you could only get this through a mail order. I think it was in the late 70s, early 80s. And so I had got one of my friends said, hey, do you want to get that signed? I'm getting a bunch of stuff signed. And I'd sold him a bunch of records. And then he's like, so I sent him that record. So when Paul saw it, he thought it was unofficial. You know, he had never seen it before, so they had to look it up. So I requested that I wanted to sign Paul Stanley Star Child because that's how I knew him. So then when I met Peter Criss, I had Peter Criss sign at the Cat because back then there was no Cat Man, it was just the Cat. Extremely, I had him do Space Ace, you know. So I only got one guy left. Yeah. But that's my pride and joy. That and I have the Straight Jacket Dynasty signed by 3 of them as well. Wow. Those are my favorite ones. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, putting your store's address on my GPS, and when I got there, you couldn't help but know, I think I found the place. Tell the story of the facade of the record store.
Well, every store is the same. It's either brown, black, white, you know. So I said, I went before City Hall and I said, listen, I'd like to make my store pink. And there's color codes because there's a city thing. But there was this one guy, I was like, I got to get by him because he never passes anything. And I was like, oh. So all of a sudden he goes, yeah, and you should put records on it too. And I think it's poodle. I can only think of poodle skirts. I'm like, yes, I got them. So it's totally pink and it has records screwed to the top of it. And it's also good because if people ask where my store is, I just tell them I'm the only pink building downtown.
There you go. You can't miss it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for our listeners who may not know, and I can't imagine who wouldn't know, what is KLA? How did it start? And how did you get involved in it?
Kiss Live Auctions, well, kissliveauctions.com if you want to join. It's an auction site, and there's all the auctioneers. They're awesome. They're you know, if there's something autographed, you know it's legit because you know these people, and they don't want to give themselves a bad name. Why would they want to? They're not going to make any sales out to that. You know, there's great people. Peter Corey was the founder. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long it was around before I joined, but then San joined, and San told me about it. And so I joined and started watching, and then you start getting addicted to just buying everything in the world, you know. And San started doing auctions, and so I contacted him, and I said, let's get Dean, you and I to do one from my store. So we started our first auction at the store, but it was such a small space we could only really there's too much stuff, you couldn't do it. So Dean went off and did his own auctions, which are amazing. And then San and I went and did our auctions. And the great thing about it is you can find anything you want by Kiss on there. I don't think there's an item that has never been up, you know. I mean, there's toilet paper, there's records, there's umbrellas, everything. The old patches, the foam patches that used to fall from the top of the auditoriums after the encore. They have those, the balloons. It's just crazy, you know. So if you like Kiss, join KissLiveAuctions.com. It's amazing. There's auctions every night. Kenny Bagley's awesome. Bill Kissholm, Peter Corey, Dean DeMagistris, Adam DeSosis, I think that's how you say his name. Paul Weber, Michael Longerbeam. It's a long list. It's like a big family as well, you know. There's a lot of joking around, and a lot of us have never met each other, so it's kind of cool. You know, it's a great time.
And there's almost an auction every night, right?
Every single night, yeah, every night. And sometimes they do marathons with like 12 auctioneers on a day. Like they'll start at 12 and go to like 1 a.m. with different auctioneers going on. You know, those are great. And then you got PJ on there who works for Keith LaRue, who works for Kiss, works for Paul and all that. He's always selling like autograph stuff, which is awesome. I bought from him many times. It's just great. It's a great site.
I gotta tell you, you know, the auctions with you and San, I find is a highlight with the KLA community, because first of all, you guys make it look easy, but you have so much fun. You know, San is literally out of his mind. He's out of his mind. So, okay, so now I have to ask you the question. Is that guy stable, man? I mean, hey, he definitely knows what he's talking about with the records and everything, man. He knows what he's talking about. It's incredible. But the guy is insane.
Yeah, he's insane. But I think that's the chemistry, because we're both crazy, you know. And the funny thing is, like, you might see a fight on there all the time. Yeah. But when the cameras are not on, we are like brothers. We're like friends. But once that camera goes on, we just start fighting with each other. It's insane. But San, he has a lot of knowledge. He's crazy. I will say he's crazy, and I will say he's crazy too. You know, it's a great time. It's a great partnership that we have. Yeah, sometimes he goes off and does them because I had some things I had to take care of, and he's like, "Hey man, you're not mad, are you?" I'm like, "No, man. You know, it's fun. You know." But yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy.
No, because you know, I watch your auction, and sometimes it just looks chaotic. How do you guys keep up with the bids and who bought what? But you guys are really organized in what you're doing. It's like, you know, it's a heck of a chore that you guys are doing there.
Because we throw so many things up, you know, and San's the one that keeps order. He has a notebook and he writes everything down, you know. So while we're throwing things up, and that's why he's always saying, "Hey, what is my bid at?" And I got to scroll back and take a look and stuff like that, you know. And he's always like, "Take a look at this record," and I'm looking at the record, you know. It's great because I work at a record store, so I know how to grade a record, you know. When people say very good, I don't know what that is. You know, what is very good to you? So a lot of my stuff I bring out is sealed, or I look at it, you know, and I say, "Oh, this is great. I can sell this." But it's hard when you get a scratched record. It really is, because you don't. How do you grade it? Very good is different to somebody else. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, that's why like when people buy off like sites or something like that, I'm like, and they come up, they're like, "Oh, I got burned." I'm like, "Well, what did it say?" It said very good. I'm like, don't do that. If you're gonna buy something off a site, look for near mint or sealed. You know, because you don't know what somebody else's opinion of good and excellent is.
No, you guys have an incredible selection of Kiss vinyl, and the prices are super reasonable. So how do you determine the price of these records, if you don't mind me asking?
We keep an eye on, like, we watch other auctions and stuff like that and say, like, okay, that's a fair price. But it also depends on the condition of the record. What does the record look like? Does it have all the stuff? Does it have the sticker? Does it have the inner sleeve? Does it have that? That makes it more valuable, you know. And that's where I say, okay, let's start this off at 60, because it's all there. And starting at 60 is cheap. To me, that's, in my store, it'd be $120. You know, even, you got to remember, this record's like 40, maybe 50 years old now, and it's still in great shape. go and try to find one yourself. There's maybe 10 record stores, but most of them are like 45 minutes to an hour away from here. So I'd have to travel an hour to go find one, and I don't even know if it's what shape it's in. I own a record store. And I don't like to sell people bad stuff, and I'm neither does anybody at the auctions. They'll say, "Oh, this is a player copy," which means it's not, it's not something that you want to put in your collection. But if you want to listen to it, you can throw it on your record.
Well, of course, if you want to have a return and kind of relationship or customer or friend, whatever you want to call it, so you cannot sell, you cannot lie.
Yeah, it's exactly. Like I had a problem with a guy today because he wanted an animalized record, and there's an animalized bootleg, and there was a regular copy, and I got confused which one he wanted. So then he got mad at me. He's like, "You charged me that much," and I was like, "Oh no, I sent you the right one. I'm sorry." But you never want to betray your customers because they're not going to return.
So, Todd, let me ask you something. Well, we can tell you're quite an expert, when it comes to Kiss vinyl and bootlegs. But why this particular interest on bootlegs and Kiss and vinyl?
I think it's because, with the bootlegs, I think it's because Kiss is not releasing them. They're doing and if you look at the bootlegs, I wish I worked for Kiss because I'd be like, dude, you're doing it so wrong. Those soundboard recordings, I stopped at number 2. I was like, God, I just don't want a brown cover record with nothing in it and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
If Kiss would remember back in the day, they would throw in posters and stickers and stuff and all like that. That's what we all wanted. And that's what made you go out and buy that personal copy, not borrow your friends because you wanted that stuff too. Even if they put in a fake merch order form, or they could do a new one with Kiss Shop Online and stick it in there. People love the stuff. I love the goodies. And I think that's where the bootleggers are capitalizing on, and some of those recordings sound great. I don't know where they're getting them from, but they really, I know that they're all getting up there in age and stuff like that, and it really sucks that we're going to lose them, lose the band. Hopefully not for a while, but they need to up the game with vinyl. You know that. I think everybody knows that. The soundboard games are just not very impressive for me. It doesn't make me want to collect it because you're not giving me a piece of you. You're just throwing it out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a very interesting comment because I remember when they first when they were released, the first 2, we were like, okay, yeah. So I remember having a discussion with Pasc and some other friends, and we say, well, yeah, it's a booklet, maybe we don't need to have all the goodies inside, but after a while, you miss that, you would like to have that, inside the album. Yeah, absolutely.
Even if a young kid, because we're all older now, but say a 16-year-old, 8-year-old kid gets one for his birthday, where's he going to put that poster? He's not going to leave it in the record. He's going to put it on his wall. That's what we all did. Those are your favorite bands, and you want to show them off. So when you don't get that, it's dissatisfying. I miss it. Oh, there's new bands that will put posters and stuff and like that. Not enough of them, but they should, because that makes each individual one of your fans go out and buy that because it's something cool. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you something. This is a little bit off of a script, but have you ever tried to work with the band or try to get closer to Keith LeRoux or some of those guys to kind of contribute with your long experience and your approach, the stuff, vinyls and all of that?
I don't know the connections and the people that work for them. I don't want to impose because it's like, if they ask me, I'd say, yeah, give them this idea. But I did write to Universal Records. I said, you own the rights. I think they own the rights. I'm not sure now, but I said, 50 years of Kiss is coming up. Re-release every album as a gatefold on colored vinyl, add posters, add stickers, add this, change the color of the album cover. What if could you imagine if the first album was purple with their faces and stuff like that instead of a black background. Change up the colors, because you know why? That makes each one of us go out there as a collector, go out and buy that, add on different goodies, you know. And I wrote to them. I never heard back, obviously, but I think that's what everybody would want. Everybody has a 2014. If they release, what's 2024? I mean, 50 years of Kiss. It should have a gold emblem, 50 years of Kiss on every record, posters, everything, stuff it with everything. Give them a download card, a CD, and an album, and everything. You know.
You know, I think that by now we know what you mean, that, you know, what it takes to have an attractive, you know, Kiss record, even if it's a bootleg or official. Let me ask you a quick question, and then I'll pass the puck to Pask. What do you think about the box sets?
The box sets that they released officially?
Yes.
They should have been vinyl, first of all. You know, the ones are you talking about the
well, I'm talking about, you know, Destroyer and Creatures, you know, that kind of stuff.
They were okay, but they shouldn't have released the CD box sets of them. They should have made that all vinyl, because you got all those goodies, but everybody wants vinyl. You know, they should have just said, let's do this box set. Let's give them the vinyl. Let's give them the CD, and let's give them a download code if they still use it, because then you're giving the customer every single thing. And if Kiss, well, I don't know if Kiss has anything to do with these anymore. It might be somebody else. But if you remember, Kiss were about the fans. Some of their releases aren't about the fans anymore. And it hurts me saying that. I hope nobody attacks me for it. But Kiss, like, that's why you got the stickers and the posters, because they were about the fans. Yeah. And now it's not like that anymore. That's the feeling I get. Like, they missed the boat by one thing. They put CDs when they should have put vinyl. Mm-hmm. The Creatures thing was nice. With the blue vinyl and all that, that was nice. Yeah. But still, the box set, you know. I don't collect CDs. I know people do, but give them that option for the vinyl.
Good point.
Okay.
So, Todd, it begs a question, because you were talking about the off the soundboard. Now, yes, the packaging isn't great, but 4 out of 5 of those soundboards sound fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's just a personal thing with me, because, I mean, if I buy them, I got 4 great things looking at me. And yeah, they're different concepts, but it's the same packaging, you know? Yeah. I mean, even if they did like one tan, one red cover, one blue cover, one orange, you know, to differentiate, you know, make it different, because not all bootlegs are the same now, are they? Mm-hmm. So why are they making them the same? That's just my thing.
Right, but the reason I'm asking is because Kiss fans, myself included, are going to spend hundreds of dollars on a Kiss bootleg. It sounds like crap, but the packaging is amazing. Yes. So basically, we're paying for the packaging. So what's more important to these bootlegs? Is it the sound?
I think it's the goodies, because there's a lot of cool goodies in that stuff.
Right.
And that's where I think Kiss missed the boat. You know, they know these things are coming out. And I know they wanted to go back and make it look like an old bootleg from back in the day, like maybe that Aerosmith type of thing. But they missed the boat on it. They should have made it awesome. There's so many great photographs of them. There's so many cool things they could have put in there, you know. I mean, people still buy Kiss stickers, don't they? They still buy Kiss buttons. Just put it all in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And why do you think this sudden surge of Kiss vinyl that fans are clamoring towards now? It's like everything we're looking for now is vinyl. Again, myself included. I stopped buying memorabilia, and I'm just focusing on vinyl, and I find more and more fans are doing that. Why do you think that is?
Because we all have bad eyesight now, and you can't read a CD. No, it's bigger artwork. Yeah. And basically you can, like when we were kids, what did we do? We'd read everything that was on there. With a CD, you can't really read that. And sometimes when they print the lyrics, they're so tiny, you can't even read those anymore. Yeah. It's all, and it's the physical thing of having something. I tell everybody, records are great. The only bad thing about records is when you have to move, because they're so heavy. Yeah. But that's the thing. I like looking at the artwork. I like looking at this. I like looking at that. Even when you gave me a poster as a CD, it was only that big. Yeah, I want it big. You know, Give me something.
The casual fan or the non-Kiss fan understand why Kiss fans have this need to get multiple copies of the same album. Why?
Because we're all sick. We're all sick. True, man. I mean, I did that with my Clash thing, and I did it with my Kiss thing. It's just having like something from a different country. You know, back in the day, you couldn't really find those unless you went to that country. Now, luckily, you have the internet and you have Kiss Live auctions where people are getting these. You know, it's something that you could never have before. The variants and stuff like that, it's crazy. Like misprints and stuff like people go crazy for it. You know, I couldn't tell you. We're sick. We're all sick. We have a problem.
Hey Todd, you know, with the band in the middle of the end of the road, or almost at the end of the road tour, we all know that, you know, this is basically the end of the touring entity. But do you believe that Kiss records will go up in value once, you know, the end of the road tour will be finished? And why?
Yeah, I think so, because the band's not there anymore, and you still want something from them. You know, like I'm still searching for that Gene Simmons on my best record. You know, but yeah, they will always go up. The thing is, I think that more younger kids have to be turned on to them because we're all getting so old. You know, it's like when people come in and look for Pink Floyd records, and they say that at their concerts, they're like 80 to 70 years old now. You know, we were a little bit younger. We were in the 50s, you know, we're probably 50s or 60s or something like that. But if you want it to last, you got to get the younger kids into it. You know, it's like they're still not played on the radio. Maybe I Want to Rock and Roll All Night, but they're really not played on the radio like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. For some reason, they get shunned, and they have such great music, which is it's a shame.
Hey, you were talking about being sick, you know, us Kiss fans, and speaking of that, you were mentioning, you know, sealed records, okay? And we know so many fans, myself included, that sometimes with merch or with vinyls, we keep them sealed, okay?
Oh,
so
yes.
do you believe that is that because we think it's an investment, that there's going to be money to be made holding on to those sealed albums or records?
I think a lot of it is, yeah. A lot of it is, and a lot of it is also the fact that this thing is over 40 years old and it's still sealed and looks in perfect condition. You know, I think it's both things. Some people think it's an investment. Others is that it's so old and it's sealed and it's cooled. Like if I go to a record store and I find an original sealed, I instantly grab it because I'm like, oh my God, it's so cool. You know, and I probably have 3 or 4 copies already, but it's I don't know. I'm a sealed collector, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I showed Pascal like one corner, and it's like probably 400 records, and 80% of them are sealed, you know. And to me, it's an investment, but also I'm just I'm an addict like that. I'm a sealed addict, you know.
Not only for Kiss stuff, but for other bands too, right? So.
Oh yeah. I got a lot of Clash sealed records and stuff like that. Yeah. When I find an old record and it's sealed, I love it. I think it's just awesome, you know.
Love it.
It's a passion. Everybody has their quirkiness, and mine's like sealed records, man.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, Kiss fans are going crazy for vinyl, right? So now we have eBay, we have online auctions. Hopefully, we're going to see the return of Kiss Expos. Do you believe that the market for purchasing Kiss items, or especially vinyl, will become overly saturated?
Yes, I think everybody right now is probably looking for those sealed records, deals on them, because I think the lowest you can get a makeup covered record is like $200, maybe like that. But you also got to, like, when I find a sealed record, and I get it at a store, I look at every little thing. Is it cracked here? Is it cracked there? Because that's me. I have to have it perfectly sealed. But yeah, it's going to get oversaturated because we're all getting older, and everybody's going to start releasing their Kiss stuff. You know what I mean? Like your house can only be so cluttered after a while before it's time to let go. And there's a few people that have done that, and I'm just like, whoa, how can you do that? You know. But sometimes it's time for people. I mean, a lot of us are older now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's an investment, definitely.
Well, that's one thing, right? You got the Kiss records, the official stuff. But what about bootlegs? Do you think that's a passing trend, or is it here to stay?
I think it's going to be a passing trend, because what happens is the bootleggers kind of ruin themselves because they release multiple copies of the same show with different covers. So that's a turnoff for people. You know, it doesn't matter how many goodies you put in there, you already have it, and that's the thing. I mean, I'm sure Kiss's vault is filled with so many stuff, and maybe if their kids are in charge of it, they'll start releasing some of it and packaging it well. You know, and that's what I'd like to see. I would love to buy the official stuff if it was up to standards, you know. Yeah. The bootlegs, if they were official and they were sweet like they are packaging them, I would, and they could charge an arm and a leg because they're official and people would want them.
You know, collecting, I guess we all agree it's kind of a passion, you know, and it gets to the point to being something that is really sick. So you know, you can compare with, you know, Star Wars or Star Trek fans. But yeah. I guess we all agree Kiss Army, you know, are really passionate about it. Why do you think that is, you know, for a rock and roll band? Because, you know, many bands then they try to follow the trend, you know, of Kiss, but there's not going to be any other band like Kiss in terms of, you know.
Never. There'll never be another Kiss. You know, even if they put 4 new guys in the makeup, Paul Stanley wrote some awesome songs and jumped around, you know, and whether people like him or not, that guy is amazing. He's been jumping around in 6-inch heels for how long? You know, he put them back on. But I think what it is like is that first initial time when you heard them, like the majority of us saw them with the makeup, and it was like, wow. You know, and it was stunning for us. And a lot of us were kids who were like, wow, this is like superheroes playing guitars and playing great rock and roll. And that group is pretty much a lot of us. But then you have the younger kids when Tears Are Falling came out and Lick It Up and all that, which were great songs too. So they never really fell off the map. And in the 80s, they actually went higher with Lick It Up, Tears Are Falling, whatever, Crazy Nights. They actually got another group of kids in there who never saw them with the makeup. Mm-hmm. I don't know. For me, it was because I saw superheroes with costumes, breathing fire, the drum set, and all that. That's what got me into it, and that's why I think a lot of us are still there.
And you know, Todd, this is a tough one, but how would you rate yourself as a Kiss collector?
As a Kiss collector, I can't say that. I would say 7.5, because I only have U.S. pressings that are sealed, but there's so much more that I could collect. But I'm happy to have all the U.S. pressings sealed, and that's where I'm at. There's a few others that I'd like to have, like the Kiss Double Platinum from Australia. There's a couple I would like, but I would say I'm like a 7.5. There's other people that get variants and all that stuff and everything from every country. But where would I find something from Korea that's sealed? It's nearly impossible, you know. And then I'd have to try to collect all those. I don't think they exist. But I did get a Japanese sealed Dynasty, and a lot of people didn't know some of those came out sealed. 10% of those came out sealed, like of the vinyl, and they were supposed to be promos. But yeah, I have one of those. That was one of my latest finds, and I'm so happy. But yeah, like a 7.5.
But because of your obsession with stuff to be sealed, so then if you find a very rare, you know, vinyl, let's say from any other country, If it's not sealed, you don't buy it, right?
Oh, it depends on which one it is. Like if it has like there's a Korean one where the back is totally different, and I was like, I like that. I'm gonna get that. If it's got like some of the Brazil stuff with like those, if I found some of those in mint shape, oh yeah, I would keep those.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some stuff that I'm like, oh, I can't shy away from that. I got to take that. Like, I think, what is it, Iceland or Greenland has some rare stuff, but you never see it. Do you have any?
No.
But yeah, there's stuff out there I'd still keep, yeah.
Okay.
So Todd, man, when I went to visit you in your store, and I thought, okay, I gotta have you on the show, and this episode just flew by, and you didn't disappoint. This was so much fun to have you on, man. It's such a great discussion on Kiss collecting and Kiss vinyl. So awesome.
Yeah, the thing about it is you'll never know it all. There'll always be something new.
Exactly.
But thank you guys. I had a great time. I hope it went well.
Before we let you go, can you tell our listeners, about your upcoming auctions?
My next one is July 13th at 7 p.m. It's on a Thursday. So join KissLiveAuctions.com. And don't just watch us, watch everybody. We're all family, and we're all in this together. I mean, it was great meeting you, Pascal. I mean, I love it when somebody from Kiss Live Auctions comes by and says hello. And, I mean, I could have hung out with you so many more years. It's so much fun.
We'll make it happen. I'll be back.
Yeah,
that is beautiful. Todd, one of the few questions that some of your listeners might have. So, for Skeletone Records, can they buy online? How can they find information on your store?
They can. It's hard. We're revamping the website right now because of COVID. We just lost so many employees. But they can also find me on Todd Radick on Facebook. That's TODD RADICT, or on Instagram as well. And just send me what you're looking for, and if I have it, I'll totally reply.
Super.
Yeah, because you also have a Skeletone Facebook page, and every time you have new stuff, you post it, right?
Yes, and there's also a page that you can join. It's called Skeltone Recs, RECS. That's the private page where I just post Kiss stuff most of the time, because a lot of people on my Facebook page are like, dude, stop posting Kiss stuff. I get hate mail. That's funny. But let me just tell you, these are all my opinions, and if people don't agree, I totally understand. Everybody has their own opinions and stuff. It's just great chatting with other people that are like-minded. We're all like-minded because we all like Kiss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, this was the intention. When we first started, discussing the project with Pask, that was the intent. Just to hook up and share opinions. With respect. We're not here for the negativity. It's all positive, and that's why it was such a blessing to have you on the show, man. You're full of energy. It's been amazing, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. I had a great time. It was awesome.
Oh, I gotta tell you, on the time of this recording, it's June 28th. It's the first day of my summer vacation from teaching, and what a way to start my summer vacation! Interviewing you on the Kiss Army Nation podcast, man. I'm on a high. I drank a ton of coffee. I am not sleeping anytime soon, man. I'm gonna put on some Kiss records tonight, piss off some of my neighbors, and just play it loud.
That's awesome. You're gonna love it loud, man.
Absolutely. So thanks again for being on the show, my good friend.
No problem. Take care. Hope to see you soon.
Absolutely.
Take care, guys.
To the Kiss Army, we hope you enjoyed this episode. I know we did. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please send them to talktome@kissarmynationpodcast.com. Until the next time, remember, never stop rocking. Take care, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe on YouTube, or follow us on Spotify, Automatic, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to make yourself heard. Leave us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. See you all soon, Kiss Army.